Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, we're back to the hot. We had a couple of days of kind of cool off. Cool front came through and it brought us back down into the mid to low 70s, but humidity's back up, heat's back up. So that's just this time of the year. If you are interested and you're in the market to buy some potassium iodide tablets, I'm going to leave a link down below. There's some on sale half off. So you can get a bottle of them. They're normally like $25 a bottle, and now they're like $12 a bottle or something like that. So if you're interested, you can click on that link and pick you up a few bottles. A lot of stuff's going on, big stuff, and we're going to get to that here in just a little bit in the video. But first, there's a couple other things I want to talk about. First, we're back on this central bank digital currency. So this morning's video, I said that Congress had passed out of Congress a bill that would open the doorway for central bank digital currencies. It's mostly focused on cryptocurrency, but the wording in the law definitely opens that doorway. It's building that infrastructure for central bank digital currencies. Well, today it came out in the news that they have also passed another piece of legislation out of the House that would ban central bank digital currencies. And so there's some confusion, like, wait a minute, yesterday it looked like they were for it, today it looks like they're against it. Number one, remember how our legislative and bill-making process works. Just because something gets passed in the House does not mean it's law. It still has to go through the Senate, and then it has to be signed by the president. This one today, just like the one yesterday, there's, and I haven't read through everything in the bills, but there's some mixed messages going on there. The one that was passed today that they're touting as a ban on central bank digital currencies, basically it's saying that if this bill were to become law, and it's unlikely that it will, that the only way a central bank digital currency can exist or can come about is if Congress authorizes it. It says that the Treasury and the Federal Reserve cannot create a central bank digital currency without Congress's authorization. So it's not a ban. It's just saying that they have to authorize it. And then it also says in the legislation that the central bank digital currency cannot be used to spy on Americans, which sounds great too if it were to get passed into law. But remember, the Patriot Act we were told that wasn't going to be used to spy on Americans also. And, well, that's exactly what it's been used for. So I'm not too confident on that. Remember that biblically speaking and looking at this whole global New World Order Great Reset plan, central bank digital currencies are very central to this plan. And so if it is to happen, we're going to have to go there one way or the other. And whether we're forced to or whether it happens by law or whatever it is. So I'm not confident at all. I could be wrong. I may be absolutely wrong, but I'm not confident at all that we will completely avoid having central bank digital currencies in this country. So we'll see. Also in the news is more immigration stuff. And it's not immigration. It's illegals pouring across this border. There's a guy that I follow that he's a reporter down on the border. And number one, he's got some footage of people crossing the border illegally, and he's interviewing them. One of them speaks English pretty well, and he says he's shocked at how there's virtually no border security, that it's too easy. And he's warning, he says, Americans need to be aware of this. He says, of course, the guy that, that came across, he's like, I'm not here to do anything wrong. He says, but who knows who is? News is reporting that since Biden has taken office that we have lost 25% of our Border Patrol agents because they've just quit. Also, suicides are higher than they've ever been for Border Patrol agents. So we're having less and less people protect the border and more people come across. In fact, it's gotten so bad that this same reporter also reported that he was sitting at a spot where they were coming across and there was no Border Patrol agents. And so he's got pictures and everything that all of these illegals, they basically sit down on the side of the road and they're waiting for Border Patrol to come and pick them up so they can be processed. And they're waiting for over an hour. And finally, some of them end up just calling an Uber and get picked up by an Uber and go off their merry way, wherever that is, without ever being recorded that they came into this country. How many is that happening? I mean, if the border is so porous and there's so few agents down there protecting it, how many people are actually coming across that we have no clue? I know it's got to be a lot. So when the government says, well, they've recorded 10 million people or 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever it is, number one, I don't believe that number is even as an official number. And number two, that doesn't account for all the people that come across illegally that aren't recorded, that just walk in and there's no one there to process them. So the point is that, yeah, it's bad and it's getting worse, and you better be getting ready for it, because I think that there's some type of war coming. At some point, we're going to see cities, especially the concentrated cities, where you've already got existing crime and existing gangs and existing kind of turf wars and territory, explode with all the illegals that are pouring in and kind of taking over their areas. It's going to happen. The big news, though, today, many of you have been following this, some of you may not be aware of it. I mentioned this morning in the video that China was surrounding Taiwan and doing some exercises. And while that's not that unusual, they do this every few weeks or every few months. This time it was being reported that it was different, that it was completely surrounding the island and with a lot of firepower. Well, it appears that this is escalating. The United Nations and the United States have both stepped in and tried to communicate with both sides and say, we need to de-escalate this. China has made threats that they're going to break the necks and spill blood of the Taiwanese. The Taiwanese they're activating all of their military. They are saying that they will shoot down anything and attack anything that moves, that comes any closer. There's lots of videos showing Chinese troops forming on their, in their areas, trying to get prepared for what looks to be an invasion. A carrier group is now moving into the Philippines, apparently to gear up for this potential war. There's also rumors floating around online, and I'm not putting a lot into them, so please don't do the same. Please don't put a lot into them, but because I can't find any source that really backs it up. But there are several people posting things that there are rumors that China has scheduled to, or that they're talking internally, that they're going to invade Taiwan by the 1st of June. Is it going to happen? Is this just another false alarm? Is this one more thing to get hyped up about, and then it all kind of, fizzles out? Kind of like the whole Israel-Iran thing, that they were going to, blow each other up. It's hard to say, because a lot of people were saying that a couple of years ago about Russia, and guess what? They were wrong. Russia did invade Ukraine. So is this that same kind of thing? This hasn't just happened for no reason. Taiwan just recently had an election, and the people elected, they're saying that, declaring that Taiwan is a free and independent country, and that they're going to do their own thing, and that they're not associated with China anymore. There's also been reports in the news that they have developed kill switches, basically, on their microchip processing, so that if China does try to invade, they basically hit a button and it fries the equipment, and they're not able to, China's not able to use it. So it does appear that things are escalating there. Now, it's very likely that if this does happen, that our involvement in this could be way more than our involvement in Ukraine. And it's also going to spread us even thinner. We're sending stuff to Israel, we're sending stuff to Ukraine, and we've been sending stuff to Taiwan, but if that heats up over there, we're going to be much more involved. And so that's spreading us pretty thin across 3 fronts. And our own military has stated that we are not capable of fighting a 2 to 3 front war. And so that begs the question of, if this happens, how vulnerable does that make the United States to attack directly here? Will that, all those hundreds of thousands of illegals, the Chinese that's come across the border, will they activate and do stuff? Other terrorists that's come across the border, will they activate and do stuff? I don't know. We don't even know if this is going to pan out between China and Taiwan. Most of us, including our own government and military, are saying that at some point it is going to happen. The question has been when it's going to happen. And maybe this is the time that it happens. I don't know. But it's definitely worth getting yourselves a little bit more prepared. I don't think you need to go out and go crazy and spend all the money that you have and go hide in your bunker. But do the things that you should be doing on a regular basis. Pay attention. Keep your head on a swivel. Operational security, situational awareness, and then make sure things are topped off. Things are just going that direction anyways. Things are heating up in the world. And so we should be doing that actively, kind of making sure our food supply is topped off, keeping our fuel topped off, going through your medical and your medicine supplies, what needs to be topped off there. Projects around your homestead that you need to kind of wrap up so that you can use the well that you've made or the solar system that you're building or whatever it is. You should probably be working on that because things are heating up around the world. And the closer we get to election, the closer we get to 2025, the closer we get to 2030, well, the more likely things are going to start happening in an even bigger way than they already are. So while this thing with China and Taiwan may not be the big one, it may not happen, it does look right now that things are escalating more than they have over the past several months and a few years. So it could happen. It could just take one wrong move for it to happen. And we need to be ready for that. That's why we should be always staying prepared and getting our houses in order. You need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.